Hello, this is Silver, and this is the second story in the It's Not Much, but It's Company series of sleep relaxing stories, written by me, Silver, the Whack. As I said in my previous story, these are simple stories without much conflict, as that would defeat the purpose of a relaxing story. They are sleep stories. They fall under that genre, and they are inspired by the stories that I tell myself as I'm falling asleep, though they are not direct transcriptions of those stories. They are something else. These are simple stories. They do not have convoluted plots. They do not have conflict, as I've said. Or rather, they don't have major conflict. Just minor slice of life kind of conflict. These stories are told from many points of view and always told in the past tense and in the third person. I will also repeat that this series of stories feature queer characters, and the stories feature some queer short stories, and they are told by a queer person, who would be me. If you don't like that, please click away. There are plenty of things that you can go and listen, even in this genre, that have nothing to do with that. They involve relationships and friendship, and some very, very, very PG romance. The stories are connected, since the characters all belong to the same community. And the stories, as the genre goes, are based on feelings, sensory experiences of the world, and they hopefully convey a cozy, comforting atmosphere. The characters are not based on anyone in particular, and the places are not based on any particular places. And that's the official disclaimer. I hope you like it, if you choose to listen to it, and if you don't, again, please just click back. I am not a professional, and I'm just starting to do this, so excuse any stammering, any editing mistakes, all of those things. I am trying to learn. This is something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy telling stories, whether they be folk tales or fiction in general, regarding properties that I enjoy, otherwise known as fan fiction, which I will not be reading here at this time. This is something else, original, simple, not convoluted, minimal creativity. It's a separate thing from that. But I just enjoy telling stories, and someone inspired me to start doing this, so I decided to give it a shot. And I'm still learning how to do it. I will try to make sure that my voice is more audible this time around and not drowned out by the background sounds. I will, when I'm editing, I will keep my eye on the volume and listen to it properly to check if it's all clear. And if it's not, again, I am very sorry. And ultimately, I just hope that you enjoy the story. If you're using this to relax, I hope it serves that purpose. If you're using this to fall asleep, I hope it helps. If you're using this as you're doing something else, just to have some company, I hope it does that. So yes, this is the second story in the It's Not Much But It's Company series, which does not have an official title yet. So, this story is called Mrs. Higgins' Hyacinths. Meredith Higgins lived alone with her son in a big home. It was the largest in the village, and the oldest too. It was heavy, brown, and covered in vines. It had a nice garden in front of it, small enough not to take up too much space, but big enough to have lovely flowers, neatly trimmed green edges, and a fountain. It wasn't entirely true that they lived alone, however. They employed several people who also belonged to the community and had found a home in that one which would otherwise be bare and bleak. And because Meredith was so charitable, the staff could live there with their families. Butterblood was her only son, Eric. Eric was a shy 20-year-old boy, who was severely visually impaired. A hyacinth boy. And she knew his truth, even if he never told her. And she loved him, and would always love him, even if he hid things from her. Hyacinths have an interesting story, she told the boy, and gave him a book on Greek mythology that she'd gotten in Braille. And he smiled. "Thank you. I think I know it," Eric said. Meredith enjoyed the company of many friends every day, whether it was raining, windy, or sunny. But, while sometimes younger people dropped by to hang out with him, Eric preferred to sit alone, listen to music, and read all the books his mother had procured for him in Braille. He also wrote some things himself, lovely poems that he reluctantly shared with his mother every now and then, but other than that he kept to himself. "Isn't he sad, Meredith?" Carol Davenport asked one rainy afternoon when they sat by the fireplace drinking tea and eating biscuits. "I think my nephew is friendly with him, but he's friends with everyone." "Oh no," Meredith said and chuckled. "He's shy and keeps to himself. I worried about it too, but he is as happy as can be. I bring him the hyacinths we can't grow in our garden. He loves the scent." It popped up sometimes, the question of whether a boy wasn't sad all by himself, but the truth was that Meredith wasn't lying. He was happy. He said that, and he meant it. Eric sat by the window when it was sunny and soaked up the warmth, and he sat with a book and music quietly when it was raining. He enjoyed the smell of hyacinths and was thankful to his mother for always getting fresh ones for his office, his library. He remembered seeing colors as a child, and as he lost his ability to see as he grew older, colors turned more and more vibrant in his mind's eye. His world was shadows, colorful ones, and it was textures. Eric enjoyed sitting by the window, leaning against the soft fleece pillows and sitting on the memory foam pad. His room didn't have a working fireplace. Instead, it had a radiator, and it was nice and warm in there. The tea was sweet, and so was the crusty pastry Cole had taken earlier. The crust was nice and crunchy, and Eric enjoyed feeling the plush carpet under his bare feet, and he enjoyed the soft clothes Mrs. Davenport tailored for him, indulging in his requests for colourful outfits that he could see. Eric wasn't a jokester, but he was funny in the way he navigated his disability. I say, letting Elliot teach him about the colour wheel was reckless, Mrs. Davenport said when he made another request for another wild outfit, green and red and yellow, and speckled purple. His mother laughed, and he smiled, and all the ladies in the room melted with his dimpled smile and pearly white green. I'm a white canvas. I should be covered in colours, Eric would quietly say, and they would let it slide until the following colour wheel-inspired request. See, Eric had albinism. His skin was white, almost translucent, and his eyes were a fascinating shade of light purple, shining and darting right and left under his long, almost white eyelashes. And he kept his almost white hair long because he enjoyed the soft feeling of it. Since the waves were smooth and well cared for, Meredith enjoyed her son's hair, and enjoyed that he let her care for it, comb it, and braid it with nice ribbons. Of course, he had to always protect his skin from the sun, even when it was raining. Long past the petrichor smell, with thunder rolling, with nothing but darkness, with specks of colours ahead of him. But he felt lucky that he could still go outside and enjoy the smell of their garden, and the smell of his hyacinths, smell of his clothes, and his perfume, and the nice soap his mother got, and the plant-based hair care products that she got. On days like that, with the rain pouring heavily outside, he enjoyed the peace, the warmth of his cozy cocoon of fleece pillows and blankets by the window, with his book and music, but there was something he missed. The garden. The gardeners. One gardener, really. And it was a bit of a secret. No, it was a real secret. See, he enjoyed the company of Leonard Davenport. Yes, related to Mrs. Davenport. He was a nephew. His mother was a seamstress. He was one of the young gardeners. They had known each other for a long time, but it wasn't until Leonard got a job as a gardener there that they connected. His mother didn't think much of their little interactions, since Eric would interact politely with anyone who wanted to talk to him. It made sense that someone his own age would want to speak to him. Well, Leo seems to be friendly with him, and he is friendly with everyone, Mrs. Davenport said, smoothing a wool dress's front, carefully removing the crinkles from the soft blue fabric. You're so right. I think that's what they talk about when we see them. And he thinks Eric is lovely, and likes that Leo has a friend who isn't a loud fireball, as she puts it. She said, and that was accepted as the reason they got along so well. The ladies chuckled. That was part of the reason. Yes, they'd started talking about plants first, then. Because Leo was so vocal and enthusiastic, they bonded over writing, and eventually, after many months, they shared their poetry in Eric's cozy library. Eric sighed a little, and his fingers stopped on a words. The word scared. Scared of all words. He marked the page and closed the book, leaning back. Most people their age were dating. and on the road to forming families. Some were already married, some already had kids. It was like that in small communities where people stayed, but Eric, despite knowing better, was scared. Unlike Leo, he wasn't enthusiastic, he wasn't someone who just spoke his mind. On rainy days, when the gardens were empty, for a long time, he longed. And it was the afternoon. The ladies were going to be there, and he was sat by the window in silence after closing his book, listening to his quiet music. Chopin. A bit melancholy, yes, but he heard the hope in some of the melodies. He was thinking about his life, his future, closing further and further into his own mind, when he heard a soft rapping on the door. "Come in," he said quietly, not knowing who it would be. But he gasped when he felt the minty smell of Leo. "Ah!" He parted his lips a little uncertainly. "Well, my mom made your new clothes, and they know we get along. I guess they wanted to get a visit from a friend." He sounded almost coy, uncertain, unlike himself. Eric heard the rustling of plastic and walked over, closer to him. Eric almost fell off the windowsill. But managed to stay up before gripping his walking stick, dropping the blankets and pillows. "Everything okay? I can go if you..." "No," Eric whispered and looked in the general direction of his face, wishing he could see it. "Thanks for bringing my clothes and... friends, yes, we are friends." Leo sighed, relieved, and Eric felt his eyes sting. His heart was racing, feeling his minty smell and his warmth mixed with the warmth of the room and the sweet smell of the hyacinths. Leo handed him the plastic bag, and Eric fumbled a little to sit back down and put the walking stick aside and felt the soft material of the new colorful bottoms and top. "Does it look funky?" Eric asked quietly, finally cracking a smile. "They'll color you right up." Leo played along, knowing the joke. The colors go together. Eric sniffled and chuckled, flicking his braid back. "I'll wear it when the rain stops." Leo cleared his throat, and Eric wished he could see him. "I'll be looking forward to that. Do you mind if I impose and linger? There isn't much to do. And you're fun." Eric was quiet. "I'm not as fun as you. I'd like it if you stayed, yes. There's space here," he said, and was surprised with the words that rasped out of his mouth. But Leo silently took the hint and sat beside him. "Do you have any news?" Leo hummed. No, I mean, I wrote more, but..." The shrug brushed against Eric's shoulder. "Not much. It's fun that we can't peek into each other's poetry since you write in Braille, and I write in my awful handwriting." Leo said and laughed. Eric chuckled too. "I'll share one of mine." "If you share one of yours," Eric suggested, and stood up to go get his sheets of poems. They all seemed white at first glance, but when touched, the textured dots revealed that there was something there. Something only he could read. Leo sighed, and the rain seemed to get stronger when the rustling of paper being unfolded and smoothed, reached Eric's ears before he sat down with his own paper. His hands trembled a little. "Leo had one ready to go? Well, This is one I have been carrying around like an idiot, and since I can't pass up the chance to hear one of yours, I'll read it. Leo said, and the quietness of his tone was unfamiliar. Eric sat beside him, and his senses were in overdrive. The mint, the hyacinths, the flowery smell of his hair and his body. The carpet power, the softness of it under his feet. Go on then, Eric said quietly, curling his toes and gripping his own sheet of paper, looking down. Leo cleared his throat and sounded winded when he started. Not the sky, not the snow. A dream of colors, braided in bloom. I felt it creeping, I felt it grow. Not a vine I could cut, it was doom. While the sun shines, the pearly white glows. Not the gates of heaven, but gentle was an angel, soft and sweet, a real flower, under a spell. And I, so much, not quite, not seeing where the purple goes. That's it. It's short. I couldn't find more words, Leo whispered, and Eric felt his face burn. Was that about him? Your turn, if you still feel like it. Eric felt like he had the obligation to do so after hearing that. If anything, to clear any doubts, and for once, it started it. So he sighed and placed a shaking finger on his sheet of paper. What color are those eyes that peer at me? Where does that freshness come from? I wish at times that I could see. I wish at times that I could be strong, confident, beautiful. I wish I could see those eyes and let them tell me what they feel. All I have is a mind reel to fish something nice, color my days, my dreams, my heart. But where to start? I never know where to start. There was silence then, broken only by the rain against the large windows and the rolling thunder. They're green. Leo spoke at last, and his voice sounded choked, as if he was crying. My eyes are green, if that's what you want to know in your poem. Maybe I'm hoping too much. And you are beautiful. You're already so beautiful. You have no idea. He sounded teary and scared, and Eric felt his own eyes water, too. They were both scared then. Eric wished he could see. Truly, when he turned his face to where he knew Leo's was, and then he managed to smile. His willing mind finally pulled in the great marlin he'd been struggling with. He could do it. Let me see you too, then, Eric asked in a soft whisper, and put his sheet aside, reaching his hands. Leo carefully took them, and Eric enjoyed the roughness of his palms against his skin when he took them to his face. Eric took his sweet time doing what he'd wanted to do for so long. Know his features. Strong features. His skin was smooth, and he had a strong jaw, a broad nose, curly hair, small ears, a little earring on one of them that he lingered on to understand it was a small stud of a flower before he slid his hands to his soft neck to feel it and felt him gasp before pulling them back up. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a sensitive neck. It's okay, Leo said and gulped, but Eric felt his warm cheeks. Does this mean anything bad for us? In the future? He asked, still worried. Eric leaned his forehead against his and felt his warm breath, both winded, both uncertain in their certainty. I don't think so. If it's mutual, then it has no reason to be bad. Leo was still holding Eric's hands to his cheeks when he finally smiled, relieved. Then I want to do this properly. I'll take you to a concert next week. On our first date. They're a local band. And I'd love that. I'll wear the new outfit then. Eric said and smiled, and Leo chuckled, caressing his hands. Can you drop by more often? I miss you, actually. Why do you think I offered to bring you your clothes? And it was so simple. So wonderfully simple. All they had to do was stop being scared and speak. The end.